GM, welcome to what's going to be another fantastic episode of DevNTell. So, if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute podcast held every week from the DAO to allow founders, hackers, and anyone in between to come on the show and showcase what they built. And today we're going to have a very exciting episode because we are announcing, from the DAO's perspective, one of the latest products to come out. And we're welcoming DD legend Crypto, who's the founder of Developer DAO Cloud. So if you didn't know, DD Cloud is the latest product from the DAO, providing a bespoke hybrid cloud solution for blockchains and dApps. So if you stick around for today's episode, you'll see Crypto give us an overview of DD Cloud, its high-performance infrastructure, how to use it, and the details of the upcoming beta launch. All right, let's get into it. GM, Crypto, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for having me on, Narp.
My pleasure. Long time coming. It's been a while. I wanted to have you on the show, and no better way than to come out firing with DD Cloud. But before we get into all the interesting stuff you have prepared for us, perhaps would you like to give us a brief introduction about yourself if folks aren't familiar?
Yeah, so I'm Crypto. I've been around Developer DAO for a few years now. It's the place where I really found my feet as a developer and grew my love for software and writing and kind of honing my craft as an engineer. I've met many amazing individuals from all walks of life, all different areas of the industry, and it's really set me up for a very unique path in life. And so, Developer DAO is very near and dear to my heart, and I've made such amazing friends along the way. But
Amazing. Yeah.
but besides that, I graduated from the Ethereum Protocol Fellowship as a part of Cohort 3. I graduated from Polkadot Blockchain Academy, Wave 5 in Singapore. And yeah, this is my second startup effectively. The first one is ongoing, of course. I'm the chief technology officer of GivePact, but we're here for whole nother products, whole nother song and dance, and yes, bring it to the people, make it exciting.
Wonderful. And that's amazing to hear how Developer DAO was such a big part of propelling you into the developer and professional person you are today. Uh, just interested to hear, were you in the technology sector before joining the DAO? Or like, were you working at Web2 before doing Web3 stuff?
Yeah, so before the DAO, there was roughly like a year period when I was out of college. I was like newly graduated, and I got my degree in philosophy from SUNY Brockport, and I received a phenomenal education from the institution, but I needed to find I guess you might say, a more concrete skill set to be marketable to people and to have a straightforward sell. And plus, like at the end of college, I just started kind of getting into crypto more so as like a speculator rather than like an engineer. And yeah, so I mean, I guess you might say like I was just like completely uninvolved with anything before the DAO. I was just coming out of college, kind of just figuring out my path in life.
And if I'm not mistaken, you also used to do some wrestling, right? As like a non-tech thing. I remember reading somewhere maybe you wanted to grapple with Billy at ETH Denver or something. You want to go a little bit into that?
Yeah, so during high school, I wrestled varsity for all 4 years. I was a Nassau County finalist, and I did pretty well in Greco-Roman and freestyle too. State finalist in Greco-Roman, somewhere up there in freestyle, and I also like competed in regional tournaments, national tournaments. It was like a ton of fun. I was pretty decent. I also wrestled a season in college as well, Division 3 for SUNY Brockport. And yeah, I mean, really, before I was super heavy into engineering, academics, anything of that nature. Kind of athletics was the thing I cared a lot about. I was super competitive, and yeah, I mean, I did get injured back my senior year of high school, and that I guess like to some level started like a transition out of athletics being my main focus. Even though I did kind of return to wrestle and I did officer training. Um, my shoulder ended up like biting me in the ass, as it turns out. But I had a ton of fun. It definitely helped me build up quite a bit of a work ethic, and it just taught me like how to be competitive writ large.
And clearly, I mean, like in your background, you have quite the display of medals. Are those all from wrestling or a mix of like academics and athletics?
Yeah, mostly wrestling, some jujitsu and martial arts stuff. Like the sword, one of the swords you see up there, like the one on the bottom, that's from Naga. Like when I was like really young, North American Grapplers Association.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
it's for the kids divisions. They gave out swords if you want it.
Whoa, yo.
So you just see
uh,
these kids
yeah.
wandering through the parking lot with a katana.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Like I don't know if that would still be the case today, but like that's amazing. Um yeah, so obviously you got the brains, you got the bronze. So I'm interested to hear about your latest startup, DD Cloud. Do you want to start us off with that? Like what it is, why you built it, why people should care?
Yeah, so DD Cloud's really going to be a cloud provider platform. That's kind of the overarching vision where we are going to be offering computational and storage resources to the wider public. Um, in my opinion, at least, compute is something that is eating the world. I mean, you look at everything from language models to blockchain node software, everyone doing cool things needs some form of compute. And so I think being able to provide solutions both based on blockchain technology and cloud technology will ultimately lead to a very strong offering for the general public, and not just appeal to folks who are native to our industry, but also the wider web 2 populace. Everyone needs compute, everyone needs storage, and we're going to find the best way to bring it to you, the cheapest way and the most reliable way.
Amazing. And what would you say is the differentiating selling point to DD Cloud? We know it's a crowded space in the cloud infra space. What would you say is your main selling point to folks who are potentially looking to DD Cloud?
Yeah, so the big thing is we are insanely focused on performance. We actually have a zero GC mandate for all services that are coming through the organization. So basically, everything except the front end has no GC to it. And so we're basically aiming to have some of the best latencies in the industry for the products that both appeal directly to native folks and for people who are using our cloud technologies more widely. And so the first product from DD Cloud that's hitting the market is our RPC relayer, and we're looking to get those transactions down the fastest. We want to be able to appeal to projects that have large amounts of traffic, use cases that are very sensitive to latency, and we want to have the strongest offering at the best price.
Love it. Love to hear it. And in terms of chain support, are you looking towards a certain set of chains to support at the beginning, or what's your vision for that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to serve as many chains as possible through Pocket Network, our main infrastructure partners. And so I think we have something like 36 some odd chains we get to support off the rip, which is very, very exciting.
Awesome. And I hear you might have prepared a little demo for us. Did you want to get into that at this point?
Yeah, totally, totally. We got to show the people what we got.
Indeed, indeed. Talk is talk until we walk the walk, or something like that. And folks, as we're going through the demo, if you have any questions for crypto or DD Cloud, please drop them in the chat, and we will get those answered for you. All right, go for it.
Sick. Yeah, this product has really been through so much. It's pretty awesome to see it being so close to launch now. But yeah, this is our landing page. The copywriting is probably going to change a little bit at least, but at least everyone gets to have a good sense of the aesthetic and the design we're going for, very in line with the DD brand. So we have our little call to actions, some nice little pieces for advertisement, testimonials, and now we go into our auth flow. Everything has been hand implemented, very strict on this process. Sorry, actually I have to register first before I can log into an account.
You hear that, folks? This hasn't been vibe coded. This is legit old school coded.
Hell yeah. I think I'm just not running the server. Yeah, there you go. That's what.
There always has to be something with live demos. That's just the way it is.
Beautiful. So now that we've registered, we can go ahead and get our login code, which promptly arrives to the email. Activate our account. Boom. Too easy. Redirects us to login. There we go. Here's our beautiful dashboard. Big shout out to Saul/SaugerDev. He does such a phenomenal job in terms of design and putting a lot of this rebrand and styling all together. Very, very huge for us. I love this aesthetic. I think some other people might like it too. But yeah, now I guess core functionality, we need to get some API keys. You got to use the service from somewhere. And so generating a new API key is just this fast. And this is actually a round trip to the server, shockingly.
Right on. We like that speed.
Hell yeah. And then when you go to delete, you get this nice little modal so you don't accidentally run over your keys. Also, most likely, you're going to want a payment plan. You're going to want to have much greater access to the service, serving a lot of traffic. So, we're gonna go pay for some stuff. Now, I'm not going to make everyone wait 60 blocks for Sepolia to finalize the thing. I'm going to show you some Block Explorer stuff instead, but we'll go through the interaction flow. You get to kind of see that aesthetic too. Actually, before I even do that, I have to verify my wallet ownership. That is part of my payment processor. So sign in with Ethereum. This message, all these raw bytes get sent to the server. So all the functionality that you basically see is pushed back up into the server, if that makes sense. And so everything is validated there. So we make sure that no one could send malformed requests or bad information to the server or potentially exploit things. So now we'll pay with USDC. You get to see my testnet token that I printed up yesterday. And so this thing will kind of track the block confirmations. We subscribe to the transaction for the JSON RPC endpoints. But we're not going to wait through all that, so we're just going to grab a transaction that has happened in the past with this testnet token. And of course, it's not nullified because I nuked the database before all this, so I can use it again because it fits all the criteria technically if I don't make that specific validation. Where are we going? Oh yeah, submit manual transaction, and this will show that we've processed everything. And if you go back into the database, just so you can see that things actually happen here. These are all the API keys. My login. And then the payment that we just recently discussed on the Block Explorer. This is a nice little tool, by the way, for anyone out there in the world just working with relational databases. pgadmin, it's just a nice little front end, a great way to visualize data and just kind of work with relational databases in general. Picked it up a little while ago. It's a pretty good piece of tooling. But yeah, that's just something like extra visual for you guys. And once you have a payment that's actually confirmed, it comes up in your transaction history, and we have like a little route to expose that data. Authenticated route, of course. You can't just pull someone else's payment information. And then, yeah, back to the dashboard. Let me just recopy my API key just in case. And then we get to move on to the second part of the demo. There we are. My API key that I was using before isn't gonna work out because I deleted all of them just for the demo. So I'm gonna add this back here. But before I hit cargo run on that, sorry, these are results from before. We get fresh ones. Want to show that we have like a cool little utility just to get your API keys from the terminal. So like for me, for example, I mean, this might just be for me, but like there's got to be someone else out there who might also appreciate this. But oftentimes I'm just like working my terminal. I don't want to like break my flow, go to a web browser, do this, that, or the other thing. I just want to, if I'm just looking for an API key or something, I just want to kind of authenticate to the service and like get my API key. So I made like a nice little utility that really just does just that. And so I can authenticate directly to my service, asks which chain I want, and then it spits out the connection string with the API key, the network, and the endpoint that's in use. So you could just copy it directly from the terminal. You can pipe it out into an env file, however you want to like handle that. But yeah, that's just like a cool little thing I put together really quickly. And yeah, now you guys get to kind of just see the service itself, and a little direct demo for you. So any SDK you got, whether it's Alloy, so like this is Alloy, VM, Web3.js, like whatever you use, it doesn't matter. It's really all the same. But you just throw in your connection string. You don't need any additional auth headers, and then you can make your JSON RPC call. So our example here, we're just getting the latest block. We can just change it up. We can do the safe. Yeah. There you go. Change it up ever so slightly for the demo. And then we can execute, and it prints this all to JSON.
And that complete quite quickly, eh?
Yeah. For like a rough estimate, round trip, that was like 164 milliseconds roughly. But you see, like it's time idle. So like a lot of that time is actually just realistically spent just like waiting for the request to come back. But like the actual time that the CPU spent doing work was about 6.5 milliseconds. And so once we have our actual infrastructure set up, our round trip response time is going to drop fairly substantially.
Yeah, amazing. And you showed it before, but just to reiterate, um, you can plug and play this RPC endpoint into any existing Web3 framework, correct?
Yeah. You just have to drop it directly in. That's 100% correct. So like even though this is like localhost, this is just going to be the cloud.developer DAO endpoint, the DNS, and the transaction gets processed all the same. So it hits the server, gets intercepted by the middleware, makes the appropriate checks to make sure the request is authorized, and then it passes it through to our main RPC service.
And at this point, are you looking to just support EVM compatible chains, or any plans for expanding to non-EVM chains?
Yeah, so we do support a bit more than just Ethereum. We do have some Cosmos chains in there, if I'm not mistaken. We have Solana, we have Sui support. Um, but yeah, a lot of different chains in the Ethereum ecosystem as well. So I know we definitely have like Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, um, XRP ledgers, the EVM side chain. I believe we also support now. Um, But yeah, we have a good little selection variety.
Yeah, Techno King is wanting Solana. So right on,
Yeah,
right on.
we will have Solana on launch, so that will definitely be an option.
Awesome, awesome. Let's go. And yeah, I guess I'll save some of my other questions towards the end. But continue on with your demo.
Yeah, I mean that really is the demo. We got to see the actual application, kind of look through the different phases of that.
Right on. And
Uh,
yeah, one of my questions, and Billy brought it up. For Developer DAO members, are there any special perks they can expect? This being a Developer DAO product.
yeah, so we are going to offer a generous free tier off the bat for Developer DAO members with and I don't want to like commit to a number, but it's in the millions. It's going to be good for I think a vast majority of smaller projects and builders that are just starting out or just looking to experiment.
That's amazing. And yeah, folks, like free RPC just for being a member. I mean, like, come on, RPC providers charge an arm and a leg for those requests. So you'll definitely want to hop on board the DD Cloud train here. And I guess this is a decent segue question as well. If people are interested in the signing up, what options are available to them at this point?
Yeah, so today you can go to cloud.developerdao.com. We have a nice little join waitlist function. Yeah, it's probably also a function, but a button that will bring you to a D form that will let you put your stuff down. But other than that, I mean, everyone is always free to reach out to me, whether it's how do I use this product better, correctly, or otherwise investors who are looking to kind of jump in on the hype and become part of the action. And yeah, yeah. Um, if you're excited, let me know.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And you alluded to it, but if, say, there's a protocol out there that does not or is not currently supported and does want to get in on the action, um, what's the process for them to reach out? Should they just reach out to you directly, or where does that become a partner button that you're showing lead to?
Yeah, just reach out directly if we don't support you yet, and we're gonna see what we can do to get you added to the infrastructure.
Awesome. And can you give us any sort of tease on when DD Cloud might go live?
Yeah, so we're currently eyeing an end of the month launch at the moment. We're kind of dealing with a few things in the background, but we're also waiting for the Shannon hard fork cutover for Pocket Network, and once that's fully complete, we're going to be onboarded directly to the chain. So I'm very excited. This it's really been a long time coming. We're also supported by the folks at the Pocket Network Foundation. They gave us a very generous grant, and so because we have such amazing partners and people we get to work with, DD Cloud is quickly becoming a reality. And so I'm really excited to show the world what DD can actually ship.
Yeah, and shout out to the Pocket Network. Yeah, those folks are fantastic for sure. Um, and I guess in terms of for the non DD members who want to get in, you were showcasing that there were payment options, so different tiers giving you different volumes of requests. Um, for actually paying for the said services, are you looking to initially just support crypto payments, or any plans for like a Stripe integration for fiat?
Yeah, so the goal is to have both. So I know like off the rip, we're definitely going to have USDC payments through our very own payment processor that I wrote. And then we're also going to be supporting fiat payments as well.
Nice,
The
nice.
fiat payments might trail behind slightly, but we're gonna like push that out the door as soon as humanly possible.
Amazing. Yeah. Crypto's a shipper, so we expect no less. And I guess just out of curiosity to pick your brain a little bit, what kinds of things are you looking for people to start using DD Cloud for? Obviously dApp development, but is there any particular thing that you'd love to see somebody build?
Yeah, I think it would be cool to see some like lower latency use cases like arbitrage and MEV bots. I think that would be like really, really awesome to see because we're hardcore working to cut down allocations, make sure that, we can get that 6 milliseconds down to microseconds.
Awesome. And in terms of contributing to the project, are you, Billy says, a searcher, talking my language. Excellent. uh, in terms of contributing to the project, is it currently closed sourced or open source? If people want to start helping you out to continue to build out the functionalities, is there a way for them to do that?
So currently it's source available, so it's not open source, but like people could like go and like see the source code, but we do retain all rights. So I do guess it's on the individual contributor if they do see something that they want to come along add. Um, but otherwise, we're really like battening down the hatches. We have very strict style guides in place, and we're really looking to put some of the best quality production code on the market.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And yeah, as we're closing in on time, just curious to hear your thoughts on like the current state of Web3. Like, what kinds of trends that you see are exciting for you? Maybe like something in the crosshairs of like AI and Web3, or perhaps a interesting EIP you've seen that you think is promising.
Yeah, I mean, it for me, it just goes back to compute, compute, compute. What we're seeing with this generation of chains, I mean, especially in the Polkadot ecosystem too, a lot of individual projects that are focusing on DePIN, whether it's being a giant like connector to like many different chains or services that are replicated across the network, like Pocket, or something that is more say like verifiable compute or trusted execution environment, something like you'd see from Fala. I think there's a lot of really interesting creative things that are going on, just in terms of like raw infrastructure. And so like that's making me super excited because besides financial services and things of that nature, I think blockchains can really unlock a very unique economy of scale to commodity infrastructure and resources, especially because you get to coordinate across many different parties in a trustless manner. So people are fairly motivated to play the economic game of the chain and participate, given that they are sufficiently incentivized to do so. And so I think this concept, this idea, fundamentally has a lot of staying power across both infrastructure and finance.
Well said, well said. And yeah, unfortunately, we've come to time, but this has been a excellent overview, and thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today, Crypto. It's amazing to see the progress you've made with DD Cloud, like really starting it as your own baby and pushing it out and getting it over the line close here.
Hell yeah! Thank you so much for having me today, Narb. It's really a pleasure. I was always saving a very special occasion to come on DevNTell, so I'm really excited to show the world what we got.
I love to hear that, man. And yeah, it's going to be an amazing product. I've dropped the link for folks to be able to join the waitlist in the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube as well, after the fact, it's going to be in the description of this video below. So definitely you'll want to get on that list. And as Crypto mentioned, If you are a DD member, you will have an opportunity to test drive this product with priority and with a gracious amount of credit. So definitely you want to get your hands dirty with that, because at the end of the day, we're all developers. We want to build cool stuff, and why not use a awesome product like DD Cloud to do that? And with that, I want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend, wherever you may be. If you watched us live today, do be sure to grab your attendance badge from BitBadges to showcase that you did indeed watch us live on chain. So if you're into collectibles, definitely check that out. And yeah, I guess we will see you all next week for another great episode of DevNTell. Right on. Cheers.